Section 1. What if everything you were taught about money was wrong? Go to school, get good grades, get a safe job, work hard, save money. That's the formula, right? Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two fathers. His biological dad, highly educated, worked for the government, believed in job security, and his best friend's dad, a high school dropout who became one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. Same city, same era, completely different results. Today, I'm going to break down the 6 most powerful lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the best-selling personal finance books of all time with over 30 million copies sold. And I promise you, at least one of these lessons is going to challenge how you think about money. Section 2. Robert Kiyosaki published this book in 1997, and it spent over 6 years on the New York Times bestseller list. It's controversial, and we'll talk about that, but the core ideas have genuinely changed the way millions of people think about wealth. The whole book is structured around a comparison, what his poor dad told him about money versus what his rich dad taught him. Poor dad said, "Study hard so you can find a good company to work for." Rich dad said, "Study hard so you can find a good company to buy." That one sentence captures the entire philosophy of this book. Let's get into the 6 lessons. Section 3. The 6 core lessons. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. Most people have a pattern. They need money, so they get a job. Then they get a paycheck. Then they spend it. Then they need more money, so they work more. Kiyosaki calls this the rat race. The problem isn't the work. It's the emotion behind it. Fear of not having money drives people to work. And the more they earn, the more they spend. And the cycle never ends. Rich Dad taught him to notice this pattern and step outside it. The rich don't work for money. They learn how to make money work for them. Instead of trading time for dollars, they set up systems and investments that generate income while they sleep. Real-world example. Think about a landlord. They buy a property once, and every month, tenants pay rent. The landlord isn't trading 40 hours a week for that income. The asset is doing the work. Lesson 2. Why teach financial literacy? This is the lesson that changed my thinking the most. Kiyosaki gives a dead simple definition. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. The rich buy assets. The poor and middle class buy liabilities and then call them assets. Here's the bombshell. Your house is probably not an asset. Why? Because every month, money flows out of your pocket. Mortgage, taxes, maintenance, insurance. If it's not generating income, it's a liability. Real-world example. Someone buys a brand new car, 0.000. The moment they drive off the lot, it loses 20% of its value. Every month, car payment, insurance, fuel, maintenance. That's a liability dressed up as a status symbol. Financial literacy means understanding the difference and choosing assets deliberately. Stocks, bonds, rental properties, businesses, royalties. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. This doesn't mean quit your job. It means your day job is your income, but your real business is building your asset column. Most people spend their whole career building someone else's business, making their employer richer while their own financial position barely improves. Rich Dad's advice: keep your day job, but start acquiring assets on the side. Real estate, index funds, a side business, intellectual property. Build something that grows independently of how many hours you work. Real-world example. Ray Dalio, the founder of the world's largest hedge fund, started Bridgewater Associates from his apartment bedroom while still employed. He was minding his own business before it became his business. Lesson 4. The history of taxes and the power of corporations. This lesson is about how the wealthy use legal structures to protect and grow their money. Poor Dad's pattern: earn, pay taxes, spend what's left. Rich Dad's pattern: earn, spend through a corporation, pay taxes on what's left. Corporations allow the rich to pay for many expenses before taxes, travel, meals, cars, home offices, as legitimate business expenses. This is completely legal, and it's one of the biggest advantages wealthy people have. Real-world example. A business owner can write off a car used for work. An employee pays for their car entirely from after-tax income. Same car, very different financial impact. The key takeaway: financial education includes understanding how to use legal structures to your advantage, not just how to earn more. Lesson 5. The rich invent money. This lesson is about financial creativity and seizing opportunities. Most people wait for opportunities to fall into their lap. The rich create opportunities. They spot undervalued assets, distressed properties, or struggling businesses, and use financial intelligence to turn them into wealth. Kiyosaki's point is that money isn't real in the way we think. It's an agreement, a concept, and people who understand the game of money can create it in ways others can't see. Real-world example. Someone buys a rundown property for $0,000 in a neighborhood where renovated homes sell for $50,000. They invest $0,000 in renovations and sell for $40,000. They didn't just save money, they created zero out of knowledge and action. This requires financial IQ, knowing about markets, law, accounting, and investing. That's why Kiyosaki hammers education so hard throughout the book. Lesson 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. This might be the most counterintuitive lesson in the whole book. Kiyosaki's advice: take jobs that teach you valuable skills, not just the highest paying jobs. He worked at Xerox not because of the salary, but because they had the best sales training program in the world. The skills that matter most: sales and marketing, managing cash flow, investing, leadership, communication. Most schools teach none of these. Real-world example. A young person takes a lower-paying job at a fast-growing startup to learn digital marketing, fundraising, and operations. 3 years later, they start their own business using those skills. That experience was worth far more than a higher salary somewhere else. The rich invest in their financial education continuously. The poor think learning ends after school. Section 4. Honest critique. Now let's be honest, because a good summary shouldn't just cheerlead. Rich Dad. Poor Dad has real criticisms worth knowing. The Rich Dad character may not be real. Kiyosaki has been vague about who Rich Dad actually was. Some readers feel misled. The advice is directional, not tactical. The book tells you what to think about, but not how to actually buy your first rental property or invest in stocks. The real estate focus may not work in all markets. In cities like London, Sydney, or Sao Paulo, property prices make the strategies much harder to replicate. Some of the tax advice is U.S.-specific and dated. Always consult a professional before acting on tax strategies. Despite all this, the mindset shift the book offers is genuinely valuable. The idea of thinking in assets and liabilities, of building passive income streams, of investing in your own financial education. These ideas hold up. Use it as a starting point, not a complete roadmap. Section 5. Key takeaways. Recap. Let's do a quick recap of the 6 lessons. Lesson 1. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. Lesson 2. Know the difference between assets and liabilities, and buy assets. Lesson 3. Mind your own business. Build your asset column alongside your career. Lesson 4. Understand how corporations and tax law work in your favor. Lesson 5. Develop financial intelligence to create opportunities others miss. Lesson 6. Work to learn valuable skills, not just for a paycheck. If this book had one sentence, it would be: stop being a slave to money and start being its master. Section 6. Call to action. If you want to read the full book, I've linked it in the description below. There's also an Audible version if you prefer to listen. The link helps support this channel at no extra cost to you. If this summary was useful, subscribe. I release a new book breakdown every week. Next up is another wealth and mindset classic that pairs perfectly with this one. Drop a comment below. Which lesson hit you the hardest? I read every single one. See you in the next one.